Now it's Christmas Day, and Christians all over the world are commemorating the birth of Jesus Christ. From Nigeria to the rest of Africa, Europe, Asia, the Americas, Christians mark Christmas with fanfare more than 2,000 years after Jesus was born in Bethlehem, south of Jerusalem. Christmas, which has evolved into an annual occasion, is a season of love, hope, joy, togetherness, and also charity. Pope Francis delivered his traditional Christmas Day blessings at midday at the Vatican. As Christians across the world celebrate Christmas, President Bola Tinubu has sent heartfelt greetings to Christians in Nigeria and around the world. In his 2024 Christmas message, the President highlighted the significance of the season, describing it as the fulfillment of divine prophecy and a symbol of love, peace, and unity. Acknowledging recent tragedies in Ibadan, Okija, and Abuja, President Tinubu expressed his deepest sympathies to the affected families and prayed for an end to such misfortunes in Nigerian communities. He urged Nigerians to embrace kindness, compassion, and solidarity, especially during this festive season. The president called on citizens to remember those in need, offering gestures of encouragement and support to uplift others during the celebrations. And as Nigerian Christians join their counterparts all over the world for this year's Christmas celebrations, state governors in the country have sent out messages preaching love, peace, and unity among the people. Even as Nigerians grapple with difficult economic realities during the festivities, the governors noted that it is important to come together as a people to celebrate the joy, peace, and hope that the season brings. In his message, the governor of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, encouraged the people to embrace tolerance, unity, and understanding with our neighbors, no matter our differences. Governor Seyi Makinde of Oyo State called on Christians to use the opportunity of the festivity to pray for the state and Nigeria and to also spread love among the people. Similarly, Governor Usman Ododo of Kogi State reminded Christians that Christmas is a time to reflect on the boundless love of God. Governor Duoye Diri of Bayelsa State admonished Christians and privileged individuals to reach out to those who do not have to enable them to celebrate Christmas. And as Nigerians mark the Yuletide, people in different parts of the country have expressed fear and worry over the possibility of traveling to their towns and villages due to the rising cost of transport fares and worsening insecurity. News Central's Omolola Ololade made a visit to some parks in Lagos and filed in this report.
This is Jibowu in the Yaba area of Lagos. It is a major interstate transport hub, and it is usually very busy at this time of the year, as many Nigerians travel from one part of the country to the other to spend time with their loved ones. This year, however, the astronomical increase in transportation costs and limited travel options have created a dilemma for would-be travelers.
I traveled 2 months ago, October precisely, and it was 23,500 naira. You get, and now is 45,000 naira, yes, and it's choking.
It costs a lot to travel, but my traveling cannot be, ignored. So I had to pay what it costs to travel. I cost between the range of 60 to 45,000 naira, depending on which time you are traveling.
As a core member, I've been away for like 8 months. So I actually need to go and spend time with my family this Christmas. So that's why I just decided, despite the fact that the price is actually high, I just have to go and see my family, spend time with my family.
While the exorbitant fares and fears of insecurity is making road travelers uncomfortable and costly experience, the transport companies say the hike in prices is inevitable owing to the rising cost of fuel, vehicle maintenance, bad roads, and of course, insecurity.
Road, number one, the spoil of the road is condemning my vehicle. That's number one. Number two, we are passing a lot of stress on the price. Secondly, the fuel, increments of fuel, Lagos to East. They can't have passengers to come back. So due to the empty they blew from east to Lagos, when they come, they will increase the price so that they can come back again from east.
From Shagamu to Ijabode, there is too much potholes there. And also, whenever as we are traveling to the east, immediately we get to Asaba. We always bear it in mind because from Anambra down to Imo State, there is a lot of insecurity there.
Despite the high cost, many Nigerians see the holiday season as an opportunity to connect with family and loved ones, with some willing to endure the discomfort and high cost to keep the tradition. In Lagos for News Central, I am Omolola Ololade.
Away from that now, 40 Nigerians have been declared wanted by the international police for offenses ranging from human trafficking, drug trafficking, robbery, cheating, and forgery, among others. Information published on the Interpol website revealed that the 14 Nigerians were wanted by different countries where they had allegedly committed the crime. The notices identified the wanted persons as Felix Omorige, Jessica Odosomwan, Uchebu, Jude Uzoma, Chinedu Uzuanara, Benedict Okoro, Ikechukwu Obidiozo, and Alachi Stanley. Others are Buhari Salif, Timo Nkem, Austin Costa Okromi, Festus Akachi Vitus, and Merieze. Now, Katsina State Police Command has foiled kidnap attempts and rescued 10 victims at Kwana Makera along Katsina Magama Jibia Road in Jibia local government area, Katsina State. The command's public relations officer, ASP Abubakar Sadiq, in a chat with newsmen, said the suspects attacked a commercial vehicle and attempted to kidnap the occupants. Upon receiving the distress call, the divisional police officer DPO of Jibia led a team of operatives to the scene and overpowered the suspected bandits in a gun duel. Efforts are ongoing to apprehend the fleeing suspects as the investigation continues. And in the meantime, the Nigeria Police Force says that over 30,300 suspects were arrested for various crimes in 2024, bordering on armed robbery, kidnapping, and murder. The Inspector General of Police made this known during a strategic meeting with senior officers aimed at reviewing the performance of the police in a bid to improving their operations for 2025. Our correspondent, Idong Joseph, has more on this.
It was a significant gathering of senior police officers from across the country to review operations, identify challenges, and discuss ways to improve in the coming year. Highlighting the achievements of the police over the last 12 months, the Inspector General of Police reported significant successes in arrest, recoveries, and the rescue of kidnapped victims.
We arrested 30,213 suspects for a range of serious offenses, including kidnapping, courtesy, murder, rape, armed robbery, and unlawful possession of firearms. In addition, we recovered 1,984 assorted firearms, 23,250 rounds of ammunition, 1,438 stolen vehicles, and rescued 1,581 kidnapped victims.
The IGP added that over 12 billion naira has been disbursed to provide insurance benefits for police officers throughout the year.
The launch of the Nigerian Police Insurance Company just yesterday aims to improve our officers' insurance and welfare packages. Over 12 billion naira in insurance payouts have been distributed to 4,223 beneficiaries of the Nigerian Police Force Group Life Insurance Scheme.
He stated that despite these achievements, a major setback for the force this year was the misconduct of officers and the spread of false information, which tarnished the force's reputation.
Despite our best efforts to foster trust and confidence with the public, and our strong emphasis on discipline and professionalism, a small number of our officers have unfortunately continued to engage in behavior that damages our reputation. This has been a significant challenge for us in 2024.
As the year comes to a close, The IGP expressed the police commitment to addressing these challenges and exploring innovative solutions to promote transparency and accountability within the force. In Abuja for News Central, I am Idonk Joseph.
The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, Kano State Command, has arrested 34 suspects with different quantities of illicit substances in the state. The command's spokesperson, Sadiq Mohammed Maigatari, disclosed this in a statement issued on Wednesday. Mohammed Maigatari said the arrest was made during a raid as part of measures to ensure a safe and drug-free Kano during the Christmas and New Year celebrations. The command successfully recovered substantial amounts of illicit substances such as cannabis sativa, sarkandai, and Exol 5, among others. Welcome back. The people of Ebem Ohafia community in Ohafia town, Ohafia local government area of Abia State, disrupted flow of traffic on Ohafia Road following a fatal accident that occurred on Sunday at the Munri Hill. They are demanding that the authorities restrict heavy-duty vehicles from using the road for now. The community also asked the government to put the road in order rather than send condolences. News Central's Chinwe Ogele reports that the accident claimed at least 6 lives.
The full-loaded Sharon vehicle had just left the motor park in Ebemo Ohafia, headed to Umuahia, but got involved in an accident at the Muri Hill with a Dangote trailer loaded with chippings. All passengers were said to have been trapped in the car when the trailer fell on it. An eyewitness narrates the incident.
That time on the nature, our truck, Dangote truck, ubuni chippings, never that. So, ya fell a break. So the Sharon.
Hurt by the development, the community youth on Monday, December 23, briefly barricaded the spot of the tragedy, refusing passage of vehicles.
This is a death trap, and because of the bad road, ya fell a break. Biakwa moto, biakwa siana lodoro ya no nwe ya. Kwa ya rinka so siana toharia. Face the other side. Bunani mado 7.
Ah, nigga lu I flag level up. I don't pay immediately. You know.
Now, it's been over 4 years since the reconstruction began, yet work has stalled on the road and commuters have had to pay the heavy price of loss of lives at one point or the other.
Had it been the road is more terrible, at least that vehicle, that trailer, wouldn't have met him at that spot.
The 44 kilometers Umuahia-Ohafia road was awarded for reconstruction some 4 years ago by the federal government.
It's quite unfortunate that with all this happening, nobody has ever come to our aid. And I believe this will be a turnaround to see that this road comes back to life and people start enjoying this infrastructure, because it's worth having as a people of this community. We demand to have a very good road.
Because
the state government has issued a press statement confirming the death of 6 and commiserating with the families of the deceased. However, the paramount ruler of the Ezogo Ebemo Ohafia community, His Royal Highness Eze Okoha Kalo Okoha, says the community could care less about the condolences.
Besides, our deputy governor uses that road almost daily. And that is why I said it is very sad, because this could have been avoided. And it's not what the people want. The people want the lives of the people. Look at, people have saved lost lives, and you're sending them condolence messages. You won't go and fix that thing.
It has been established that some lives were actually lost. But basically what the people are talking about is that the government should hasten up the reconstruction of this road so that the number of accidents and casualties that are recorded on this road will be mitigated. In Ohafia, for News Central, I am Chinwe Ogele.
Nigeria's federal government has commenced efforts aimed at combating sharp practices by unlicensed fire extinguisher maintenance operators, which continues to pose a major obstacle to the maintenance of safety within the nation's transportation sector. This was during a training of 1,500 certified fire extinguisher servicing vendors in the nation's capital, Abuja, organized by the Ministry of Interior and Heavy-Duty Truck Owners, Marketers and Suppliers Association. Organizers of the training say critical issues relating to the failure of fire extinguishers during emergencies will be addressed.
Today's successful meeting, we have seen that, to start with, the unions are bringing in about 1,523 youths from the 774 local governments to be trained, to be empowered, to be fire extinguisher servicing vendors, so that they can be gainfully employed, and that will also help in solving those major problems caused by those illegal and faceless individuals who service fire extinguisher with cassava and who impersonate those that originally import the extinguisher and render them not having good business.
In collaboration, there's going to be collaborating working community with road safety, with VIO, with civil defense, with the DSS and other security organizations at the point of training, as well as rearrangement. Like I said, it will provide for revenue generation. It will assist the national security architecture, and then as well as provide job opportunities for our teaming youth. And this will go across the 774 local governments of Nigeria. We will have
Efforts of President Bola Tinubu's administration in tackling insecurity We'll take that again from the top. Once again, efforts of President Bola Tinubu's administration in tackling insecurity have seen some positive developments, particularly in the northeastern part of Nigeria, ravaged by terrorism for many years. The government's focus on clearing remnants of insurgent groups has led to the surrender of thousands of resettlements of displaced communities. However, data from SBM intelligence paints a grim picture of overall security in the country, as more than 7,000 people lost their lives in violent attacks, with close to 300 security personnel among the fatalities. Over 2 trillion naira was paid to victims of kidnapping incidents according to the National Bureau of Statistics from May 2023 to April 2024. News Central's Omar Kira assesses present realities in security management.
A historic day for these families as they smile into new homes after 10 years of displacement and depending on handouts at IDP's camp.
Dulinde kam tulur nam nyana chawam banande kindaye bana kindaye pendena ngo kumbu pendena alhamdulillah
nelefa isna he dai barin ne gante ne andia kodri muko indin kalkallo gozna alhamdulillah shira askirnyana.
While the northeast Nigeria has shown signs of stabilization, with thousands of insurgents surrendering, abducted persons rescued, so many communities are yet to be resettled. The northwest of Nigeria remains a hotbed of security situations, with frequent attacks on both civilians and security forces.
Generally, nobody feels secure and safe in this country. Recently, the military came out to say that they have discovered a new terrorist group, Lakurawa. But the reality of the situation is that they have been there for a very long time. I think there is a challenge in terms of how intelligence is gathered, interpreted, and shared to engineer action.
Efforts by the multinational Joint Task Force in the Lake Chad has led to increased access to farmlands and businesses, but the threat to withdraw from the MNJTF by Chad due to the murder of its troops by insurgents raises a lot of questions.
The military operational crackdown that was launched by the Chadian government against some insurgents in the Lake Chad region of the Chadian part, and we learned that a lot of insurgents are crossing over to Nigerian territory, and they've been attacking some sub-target and some military facilities in some part of Borno and Yobe State. So other than that, generally speaking, Borno and Northeast in general has witnessed relative peace.
Quite a number of them have surrendered. Definitely, you know, some of them will not want to surrender. So, Operation Lake Sanity 2 is for those that have refused to heed to the call. That's where we are using the kinetic means. So we are using other strategies apart from the kinetic. We have also constructed over 95 community projects, quick impact projects in the 4 countries.
What we have seen before, we inshallah will not see it in the future, because our security are doing well, and the journey so far, our civilian JTF, our people, they are even on self-defensive now, because most of them, they have their cutlasses, sticks, and what have you at home. So once they say Boko Haram is around, they will just come out and attack Boko Haram.
1st to 10th of August 2024 witnessed a nationwide aid bad governance protest on the cost of food and the rise of fuel price due to fuel subsidy removal that led to tension, chaos, and unfortunately, some Nigerians paid the supreme price.
The year under review, that is 2024, has been a very critical moment for Nigerians in terms of socio-economic situations. People have been battling with inflation for food to eat, for livelihood. So these are some of the pull factors that lead to insecurity.
We have to do something about the Nigeria police force, improve the quality in the Nigeria police force.
Statistics from SBM Intelligence reveals that more than 7,000 people lost their lives in violent attacks, with close to 300 security personnel among the fatalities.
The recent attacks to officers and men in Kareto by Boko Haram members will not deter us from our resettlement drive.
Sensationist activities in the southeast, where sit-at-home are being enforced, and the Oko-Oba saga in Delta State of South Nigeria, where 17 soldiers were ambushed and murdered on March 14, 2024, and subsequent ransack of the riverine community, remains unforgettable.
8th of May 2024, the military have withdrawn from Oko-Oba. With this development, the people of Oko-Oba can now safely return to their homes and begin the process of reintegration and rebuilding their homes.
We have reappraised our strategies. We're going to bring in more impetus into our operations, bring in more platforms to support the soldiers so that they can do their work well.
As Nigerian authorities grapples with security challenges, the Army headquarters says it has successfully arrested over 11,000 and exterminated about 8,000 terrorists and rescued 600 kidnapped persons in the year 2024. But experts say much really needs to be done to address some of the security challenges in the country. From Maimalari military cantonment in Maiduguri for News Central, Umaru Kirawa.
Welcome back. Now, as the festive spirit is in the air, many gather to celebrate one of the most significant events in the Christian calendar, the birth of Jesus Christ. At the Lord's favorite ministry in Johannesburg, South Africa, congregants came together for their annual Christmas church service in worship. Bongani Sisiba has more.
As the spirit of joy and togetherness resonate within the walls of churches around the world, here at the Lord's Favorite Ministries, faithful voices unite in song, celebrating the birth of Jesus Christ, the embodiment of love and hope.
It's good to be excited. It is good to be happy. Are you hearing me? Get yourself a Christmas hat. You know, let something represent, let something say Christmas.
It's a magical Christmas, and these hearts are filled with joy as Christians around the world gather to celebrate the birth of Jesus Christ.
Christmas is an epitome of love and giving. Christmas is a transition from being forgotten to be remembered.
It's a gathering to serve and honor and celebrate Jesus. That's why it's called Christmas. So it's just a time to celebrate Jesus and honor him.
In every note they sing, it's a reminder of hope and love that this season brings. It's not just to celebrate birth, but the promise of peace and goodwill to all mankind. This play depicting his birth unfolds, bringing to life the nativity scene that has inspired generations. But what does Christmas mean to many?
So Christmas is about being kind, being good to your community, your friends, by showing them love, by sharing with them, giving to the need.
So this is that season where we demonstrate the acts of love that God in us and God in man. And the Bible says that in this season, God actually reconciled with sinners. So Christmas means love, it means reconciliation.
For many, the celebrations continue beyond church. Here, Christmas Village invites each and everyone to soak in the festive spirit, filled with laughter, joy, and a sense of community. The spirit of season is alive in every corner. People admire decorations, glittering garlands, twinkling lights, and magnificent Christmas trees.
I wanna wish you a Merry Christmas. We wanna wish you a Merry Christmas. We wanna wish you a Merry Christmas from the bottom of my heart.
As Christians embrace the joy of the season, they remember the essence of the Christmas: love, hope, and togetherness. From the carols sung in reverence to the laughter ringing through the chorals, Christmas brings everyone closer together. And from me, Bongani Siziba, in Johannesburg, it's a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year ahead.
Now, opposition party Podemos has rejected the outcome of Mozambique's October 9 presidential election following its confirmation by the country's highest court. The court upheld the victory of the ruling Frelimo party, which has been in power since 1975, a decision that has already sparked weeks of unrest. Speaking at a press conference, Podemos party president Albino Faquilha stated firmly that the party neither recognizes nor accepts the election results validated by the Functional Council. Faquilha's declaration comes amid reports from several international observer missions, which flagged irregularities during the electoral process, raising questions about the credibility of the vote.
O Partido Podemos não reconhece e nem aceita em absoluto os resultados eleitorais validados e proclamados pelo Conselho Nacional. Consideramos como razão de fundo para a não aceitação dos mesmos resultados a falta de transparência, a integridade, profissionalismo, responsabilidade dos órgãos de gestão da Comissão Eleitoral, em última instância, o Conselho Constitucional. O Conselho Constitucional fechou olhos perante esta verdade, porque a Frelimo sairia a perder. De agora em diante, o Podemos, em nome da justiça e da pátria, pertence à genuína dos moçambicanos e ainda o seu conceito de ator político sério vai continuar a sua luta ao lado deste povo oprimido, discriminado, perseguido, empobrecido e assassinado, através de meios políticos, diplomáticos e judiciais, este último usando canais nacionais e internacionais possíveis contra os infratores.
Morocco has proposed reforms to its family law addressing contentious issues such as underage marriage and women's inheritance rights. Activists have long criticized the current code for failing to guarantee women's rights. Justice Minister Abdulateef Wabi outlined the proposal on Tuesday, which built on the landmark 2004 legislation once celebrated as a breakthrough. Key reforms include raising the legal marriage age and expanding women's custody rights. The proposed changes come after 2 years of consultations involving civil society groups, judicial experts, and religious authorities. However, the reforms will require both parliamentary and royal approval to take effect. Despite these advancements, women's rights advocates argue that the proposal falls short of their demand for full equality in inheritance and child custody, as well as an outright ban on child marriage. Welcome back. Now, reports are emerging from Syria of a mass grave discovered in the town of Adra, 30 kilometers northeast of Damascus. Rescuers have uncovered bodies, hundreds of bodies, sparking outrage and condemnation. This grim find is the latest in a series of mass graves uncovered across Syria since the ousting of Bashar al-Assad. The country's devastating conflict, triggered by brutal repression of anti-government protests, has claimed over 500,000 lives since 2011. The international community is calling for accountability and justice for the victims and their families. Now, tragedy has struck in western Kazakhstan, where an Azerbaijan Airlines passenger jet has crashed, killing an unknown number of people. The Embraer 190 was flying from Baku to Grozny, with 62 passengers and 5 crew on board. Authorities report that 32 people have survived the crash, which occurred near the city of Aktau. An investigation is underway with a team from Azerbaijan working at the crash site. The cause of the crash is still unknown, and officials are exploring all possibility of scenarios. Hawaii's Kilauea volcano has erupted for a second consecutive day, spewing lava into the air within the summit's caldera of Hawaii Volcanoes National Park. The eruption, which began Monday, has produced fountains of molten rock up to 295 feet high, covering 650 acres. The lava is estimated to be about 1 yard thick. While the eruption is contained within the park, visitors can observe the lava flows from a safe distance. This is Kilauea's 6th summit eruption since 2020, and scientists expect activity to fluctuate in the coming days. Now, Catholics in Indonesia's Aceh have held Christmas Eve Mass in Banda Aceh ahead of the 20th anniversary of the Indian Ocean tsunami, which killed over 150,000 people in the country. Held at the Sacred Heart Catholic Church, the province's only Catholic church, the service featured candlelight and pipe organ music. Built nearly a century ago by the Dutch, the church stands in Aceh, Indonesia's sole province under strict Islamic Sharia law. Next week, survivors and victims' relatives will commemorate the 2004 tsunami triggered by a 9.1 magnitude earthquake off Sumatra. It caused massive waves, devastating over a dozen countries and killing 226,408 people, with Indonesia's northern Sumatra hit hardest. More than 120,000 lives were lost in this region alone.
Katolik di sini juga sangat berbaur dengan masyarakat sekitar. Nah, meskipun Aceh dengan kondisi regulasi yang mengatur Aceh harus dikelola secara syariat Islam, tapi kami, orang Katolik, tidak terganggu sedikit pun dalam kapasitas kecil, tapi sungguh dihargai. Ibadat saya tiap hari Minggu, perayaan-perayaan besar seperti ini berlangsung dengan baik, tanpa ada gangguan, tanpa ada katakanlah penolakan dari masyarakat sekitar.
Ethiopia is making a significant move towards a sustainable future by becoming the first country to ban the import of gas-powered vehicles. While this ambitious shift promises considerable environmental and economic advantages, challenges persist, including limited charging infrastructure, low monetization rates, and the necessity for effective policy implementation to facilitate a smooth transition. It's widely recognized that EVs can be expensive. Yuma Sasaki, CEO and founder of Duoye, shared his insight on the long-term benefits of EVs for users and whether there are adequate supporting policies or infrastructure in place to ensure a seamless transition.
Japan, in Japan or most of the country that's the case, but that's not the case in Ethiopia because 200% to 300% tax on fuel vehicles, while it's basically 0 to 15% tax on electric vehicles. So surprisingly and interestingly, in Ethiopia, electric vehicles, even for initial cost, it's cheaper than fuel-powered vehicles. On top of that, in terms of gasoline versus electric, it's basically 95% cheaper to use electric compared to fuel. So in the particular case of Ethiopia, already both initial costs and operating costs significantly cheaper to use electric vehicles from a user's point of view. One big thing is import duty that I mentioned. So obviously, if the fuel cars or fuel vehicles are banned, people have to move to electric. That's in a way support to transition to e-mobility. But at the same time, in the past, people have to pay 200 to 300% tax on fuel vehicles. And then right now, 0.15%, depending on the way that we import. If it's basically parts, it's called CKD. If it's CKD, then it's 0%. It's finished cars, then it's 15%.
The Ghana Football Association is set to decide the fate of Black Stars head coach Oko-Oba and his technical team after Ghana's failure to qualify for the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations. GFA Communications Director Henry Ashanti Twum confirmed consultations with stakeholders including the Ministry of Sports have concluded with recommendations now before the GFA Executive Committee. Oko-Oba has come under heavy criticism following Ghana's dismal AFCON qualifying campaign, one of the team's worst in years. As the Black Stars prepare for the FIFA World Cup 2026 qualifiers against Chad and Madagascar in March 2025, the GFA's decision will be pivotal to the team's rebuilding efforts and aspirations to regain their former glory. Uganda's under-17 national football team, the Cubs, have secured qualifications for the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations with a commanding 4-1 win over Somalia in the CECAFA zonal qualifiers semi-finals in Hams Stadium, Nakivubu. Star forward James Bulgari stole the show with a stunning hat-trick, while Abdulkali Wasusimbi sealed the victory with a fourth goal. The Cubs now turn their focus to the 2024 CECAFA Under-17 tournament final, where they will face Tanzania in an anticipated showdown on Friday, December 27, at the same venue. This triumph highlights Uganda's rising dominance in youth football as they aim to clinch regional glory and prepare for the continental stage. Now, Miami Heat guard Drew Smith will miss the remainder of the 2024-25 season after tearing his Achilles tendon during the team's win against the Brooklyn Nets on Monday. Smith, who was shortly back after recovering from a torn ACL that he suffered while part of the Heat's G League squad, has now endured another season-ending injury. Smith was averaging 6.3 points, 1.6 assists, and 2.6 rebounds in 14 games this season for the Heat. He was shooting a career-high 50.8% from the field and 53.3% from beyond the arc. And that's all this hour. But before we go, let's take another look at some of the stories that we brought your way. Christians all over the world are celebrating the birth of Jesus Christ, as Interpol has declared 14 Nigerians wanted for various crimes including human and drug trafficking. We also told you that opposition in Mozambique have rejected the presidential election results. Now, to remember, you can watch News Central live on DSTV Channel 422 Star Times, Channel 274 Evo TV, and of course on YouTube. Many thanks for watching. My name is Mazino Appeal.